I get to build for work that is a little more fine woodworking compared to utilitarian woodworking, as you can see here. Most of these projects are far from fine furniture. They serve a purpose, and they serve a purpose cheaply. But here I get to do something a little nicer. Now, at work, where I work, Montgomery County Community College, I hand out and maintain the audio and video equipment for the communications department. And there we have a lot of microphones, AKGs, Blueberries, Neumanns, tons of mics. So here I have a cardboard box that an AKG kick drum came into. Now most of the mics we get into, as you can see here, come in either really nice cases or even some like these blue microphones, the woodpecker, the dragonflies, the blueberry. They all come in some really nice wooden boxes. So what I'm going to do, because this AKG kick drum came in a cardboard box, which would probably last about a month, considering it would get checked out probably, 20, 30 times a week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a nice wooden box for this kick drum. And it's just going to be a fold-up wooden box with a nice latch on it. Let me open this up here. Right. So in here already comes the foam, and I'll stick the foam inside the box. And I'll use this box as the dimensions for the box I'm going to build. And here is the logo. This is Montco's logo. And what I'm going to try to do from the first time is try to do some marquetry. And what I want to try to do is inlay the college's logo on the top of the box. It's my first attempt. It's something kind of simple. It's not, too extravagant. But hopefully it's my first attempt. If I mess up a little bit, it's a box for work. I'm not all that upset. But this project would be great for the holidays. Good, nice present. You can inlay whatever you want on the top of this box. I mean, it'd be kind of silly for you to do the college logo. Flowers, whatever design you can think of, you can marquetry into the top of the box. Make a great holiday gift. So let's get started. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out how big the top and the bottom should be. And I can get the top and the bottom out of one sheet of this ply. Now this ply is hobby ply. It's made by Revel. I found it at Michael's craft store. If you can hear the huffing and puffing in the background, that's my dog. Don't pay her any attention, she's harmless. Right, Bandit? Okay. So, instead of buying a big sheet of ply, which, good ply is not easy to find, I just decided to pick this up. I think it was like $6 or something. But it's all I really need for this project, and I think it will work fine. Now I'm going to use the actual box here to go ahead and figure out the size that this needs to be. Now, the inner dimensions of this box is the size I want the inner dimensions of the wooden box to be. So I need to figure in that I want the box, right, to recess into the wooden side, or the lid to recess into the wooden sides by at least 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to move the box in a 1/2 inch this direction and a 1/2 inch in this direction, right? And what that'll allow me to do is that'll give me the 1/4 inch reveal. So I'm going to go ahead and mark the box, the inner dimensions. And there we go. There are the inner dimensions of that box all hanging over 1/4 of an inch. I cut both pieces, the top and the bottom. This is the top piece here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and logo's going to go in the center like that. there's going to be a band here on the top and the bottom to kind of letterbox the logo. The logo also has writing on it, like here, Montgomery County Community College, as you can see. I'm not doing any of that. That's, for my first project, all that is just too much. So I'll be doing this logo, and looking at it, it really is going to be 4 parts. The sun, which though you can't really tell here is normally gray. The school colors are gray and maroon, and this part is maroon here. So I picked out the background color, which is this right here, which looks to be cherry, right? Nice figured cherry. The rest of the box is going to be cherry too, so that's why I'm going with the cherry top. Now, I need to figure out colors that come as close to this logo. The school doesn't really like it if, you know, the logo is kind of used inappropriate. So I want to find colors that best match without dyeing. I don't want to dye. I want to use natural wood colors. So I want to get whatever I have close to these colors without. Now you can see that's a little more gray. The printer was running out of ink, but it should be enough to go ahead and do this. So I'm going to go ahead and pick my veneers to match this color. Now what I did is I bought this, and it's a pack of a whole bunch of different veneers, and I got it at Woodcraft for $26.99. I couldn't beat it for my first project. And in here is a wide array of different veneers. It's a mixed variety pack. You can get just cherry, or you can get larger stuff to do bigger projects, but it's a mixed patch of veneers. That, I think that's Castor Ebony, as they call it, or whatever. Curly Maple. Right, oh, that burl, jeez. So it's a great way to get into this. You can get some really nice. I got 2 sheets of that burl. Oh wow! And you know what? Look at that. They're book matched. I can book match them. Oh, that's I'm saving that for another project. But yeah, there's a lot of different variations of wood. So I want to find something that comes close to, oh wow, look at that. Super quilted, oh boy. Oh, bird's eye maple. Walnut, it looks like oak. That looks like, I don't know what wood this is, but it's pretty. So I need to find something that best represents the colors we are looking for. Okay, I picked out. I have the background will be the cherry. The gray will be this part here. So I'll try to place that so that is in this grayer area. And the red will be this nice, beautifully figured wood. Now what I want to try to do out of this area is I want to get the red part, but also get 2 bands that will go on the top and the bottom. So I believe I should be able to get that out of there. Now I also picked these 2, right? This here is oak, right? Not too dramatic. This I don't know what it is. Not bad looking. It's not, you know, highly figured or anything. I'm going to use these to practice. I have never done any marquetry before at all, so I'm going to practice with these and give it a shot with those. Now, I also bought this, which is Veneer tape. I got this from Woodcraft. They were out of it in the store, so I ordered it online. I wish they had it in the store because it actually cost more to ship it to me than it did to buy it. But I've read up on some articles on marquetry. I also got this video here. The Master Techniques of Marquetry by Silas Koff. Really, really good. I really liked it. I'll put the information for this in the show notes. I thought it was a good DVD. I watched it a bunch of times. So, based on that, I still think I need to go ahead and test on these pieces. Here's my scroll saw. It's my new scroll saw. I got it a little bit before last Christmas to do some projects. I used to have an old Craftsman that was probably from the early 50s, late 40s. Didn't have a bed to tilt, so marquetry was out of the question. And it was severely underpowered. It didn't really oscillate, it just vibrated. And it worked. I'll always keep it. My uncle gave it to me, so it'll always be mine for it. I've always used these bits that have the pins on the end. They are easily come by, they're easy to put in. The problem is, if you're doing real tiny work, you have to drill a huge hole to get the blade in because you have to count for the pins at the end. To do marquetry, you need a much finer blade. So, I bought these blades, and they are a lot finer. They have no pins, so they need to get attached and tightened. But I need to find a good way to get these in, and I'm going to try these for the first time. So let's go ahead and set that up. Okay, this tells me a couple things I forgot to do. One is that I'm just chipping the veneer. It's just falling apart. So what I need to do is I need to go ahead and sandwich it in between smaller or other veneers, or package it together somehow. This didn't go well, and I decided, well, I'm going to take a break. And I went down and watched a couple of videos on YouTube and stuff about marquetry, and realized that this pattern is pretty simple. And what did they do before they had a saw like this? It was either cut out by using a fret saw, or by knife. And this is such a simple design, I just think I'm going to cut it out by a knife, and I'm going to try that. Okay, I'm going to use this piece of cherry. I think it will work nicely for the box. The problem with the cherry is it is really kind of bowed. There's a lot of cupping in it. I need to take care of it. I don't have a joiner, a power joiner. I do have a hand joiner and a planer. I have a number 7. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the board in half. Give me 2 manageable pieces. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten the one side with my number 7 Stanley to the point where it sits level, and then I will go ahead and plane it in the power planer. By cutting it in half, they're still going to be long enough where this will be safe, and I can get the pieces I need to make this box out of this board. I have other cherry and stuff, but I'd rather save that for other projects. I have a couple other ideas for that. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this in half, and then we'll go ahead and start planing it. I am new to planing by hand, so it really, I'm sure my technique needs much improvement. Improvement comes with time, so I'll get there. Right now I'm just going to smooth this edge up. I'll probably trim that up on the table saw anyway. I want to get it close. Plus I'm going to use it as practice. And then what I'll do is I'll flatten the board enough to feed it through the planer safely. Okay, just rough. Now I'll go ahead and I'll clamp this up to take out the high spots. Load it into the bench. I'm not trying to make this look pretty by any stretch of the imagination. What I am trying to do is make the bottom so it sits flat so I can feed it through the planer without, because if it's twisted or it's warped and I feed it through the planer, the rollers are going to push it down. It's going to thicken it, thickness. It's going to thickness it, but it's not going to go ahead and take the twist out of it. It'll just push it flat. And when it's done, it'll pop back to its twist. So I want to go ahead and flatten this enough just so it go ahead and see how. There we go. Much nicer, sits a lot. Take off a little more, but we're almost there. Okay, I'm going to rip it to final width, right, which I want to be just a little wider than the actual cardboard box. To account for the bottom and the top and the inlet, or the top and the bottom, and some room around for that groove. So now that this is cut, I'm going to go ahead and dimension this to final width. Okay, I'll go take these over to the bench and lay them out the rest of the cuts. So I'm going to set the cross cut sled up, and I'm going to lop these ends off, and then I'm going to go ahead and measure for this box. Now, one of the things I'll measure before I go is I need to, the inside dimension is the important thing. So I'm going to use this inner box to lay out the dimension of this piece, right? So, right, there's that, right? So I have the two spots where that starts. Now I got to account for the 45 degrees, right? That would splay out from this inner dimension, right? I'm going to go ahead and cut off the snipe sections. Unplug the saw up with the data stack in 1/4 inch, and then I set up its height and its distance away from the fence to cut a groove for the bottom plywood panel. Now I'm going to use this board here. It's just kind of a test board. I'm going to feed it through and create a groove. Tight, but still easy to get in. I'm going to go ahead and cut the pieces. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut the dados now for the bottoms in all the pieces. So I got to orient correctly, and there we go. Okay, so what I did is I went ahead and I put some more shims in, and then I reset everything. And I'm going to go ahead and make a test cut. Now this is for the top of the box, which I had to widen the dado a little bit to allow for the plywood plus 2 veneer layers. So I'm going to go ahead and do a test cut. Okay, what that did was push apart the it's hard to see, but there is actually a piece of wood left in between because the two cutters are so far apart. But it's so tiny and so thin that I could probably just go ahead and remove it with a chisel real easily. Just remove it, I mean, it's just that thin, really. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut the other pieces. Got these pieces cut, I can go ahead and bevel this saw. Now I brought it 45 degrees, and I will check it with this square. Okay, pretty good. I will go ahead and cut a test piece before we do anything. Okay, nice miter. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and make the miter on all 4 other corners. Yep. Those nifty clamps will allow me to make both cuts to both long pieces the same. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and make this other cut, and then using the stop block I can make the cut on this other piece. Let's get started. And there we go. We have the piece cut to leg. I can safely pull the saw back, move the waist, go ahead and cut the Okay, these pieces are all cut. As you can see, they're equal lengths, and that's because of using the stop block. It'll be able to help us keep everything nice and square.